Hi, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and my project today starts a new series for me. This is my Father's Day series. We're using Winston the Bear in the stamp set called Winston Takes Flight from Newton's Nook, and it's so cute. I just had to use it, and I do have the matching dies that I use in this as well, although you won't really see me use them, but I do cut out all the elements using the dies later. Now I'm going to stamp this off on some scratch paper first because I'd never used the stamps and I wanted to make sure that they would stamp okay. And they stamp really well right out of the package, so nice quality. And I do wind up actually using 4 clouds, although you only see me stamp in color 3, but I color them all the same way. And then my banner that I've stamped here, you will see me color, but I wind up not using because I do need to change it later, and you'll see me do that as well. But I do color it the same way, so that's why I left that in here. Now for the bottom of my plane and my propeller, I wanted those to be sort of silver, so I used gray Copics. So my darkest is C7, my middle shade is C3, and my lightest shade is C00. Those are all cool grays, hence the C. And I put a very, very skinny line of the C7 along the middle edge of the plane. Then I made a sort of a larger line of the medium shade, which is C3. And then I'm blending it all out with the C00. And then I go back with the C3 to kind of add in and blend, get a better blend between the lightest shade and the darkest shade. And then so I go back again and blend it a little bit with the C00. And that helps the blend smooth out, given that the 00 is fairly far apart from the 7 on the value scale. So that's a kind of a trick that I use for a lot of this to get some of these colors to blend, because some of them are pretty far apart on the value scale. Now for my reds, I'm using R59 as the darkest, R27 is the medium shade, and then R05 is the lightest shade. And so the R59 is really dark, so I did a very, very skinny line of that. And then I did a fairly large line of, area of the R27 along the side of the plane. And then the whole top is going to be colored in with the R05. And then I add in a little bit more of the R27 just to blend that back together well. And my thinking was that the plane would be sort of lit from above by the sun and below by reflections from the clouds, so the side of the plane would be the darkest, and so that's why I'm coloring the side in the darkest. And so my blues were the toughest to actually make blend well because they were the furthest apart. So my darkest is B29 and then my medium is B24, and those blend perfectly together. But my lightest shade was B00, and that is really far apart on the value scale from the B24 and the B29. So it's tough to make those blend. So as you'll see on this wing, what I wind up doing is I put the B29 down fairly thinly, and then I've got a decent amount of the B24. And then I fill in the center with the B00, but that's really lighter and kind of a different color. So I go back with the B24, and then I try to blend it with the B00, and it's still weird. So I take the B24 and really kind of very lightly almost color over the whole thing, and that smooths out that blend. And so it creates sort of a shade that's darker than the B00, but lighter than the B24, and that helps those 3 colors blend much more smoothly together. And so that's kind of a trick that you can use if you have 3 different shades of markers that just don't quite blend perfectly. And I do it here too. So with my bear, I use some Spectrum Noirs because I don't have any brown Copics for some reason. So I started off with EB8 and then I added TN8, and that was really dark. So then I decided I'm going to go crazy and use TN2, which is a really light tan. But they're super far apart. So now I'm taking the TN7 and just very lightly going over the TN2, or into the TN2 areas, and then blending back with the TN2 to again create that sort of middle shade that's lighter than TN7, but a good blend with the TN8 and the EB8 to get sort of some nice highlighting going on the bear without making him super dark. And here you see I just totally blend them together like TN2 and TN8. TN7, and then I'm just blending with the TN2 to create that medium shade behind the goggles. Now I wanted to give him an ivory aviator scarf, so I used GB8 for the shadows on that, and then I go back in with Y000 Copic, which is a super pale yellow, to give him an ivory aviator scarf, because he's a pilot, so he's got to have a classic aviator scarf, right? And then for the goggles, I use W8 and W6, so warm grays. And then I go back later with just a touch of true black on the wheel only to darken that down. And here's a little pink for his cheeks and his ears. And I do a little more blending with the TN2 for the pink. And then I add a little more shading on his belly with the GB8 from Spectral Noir. And I just fill in here and there with anything I missed. And that's pretty much the plane. There's the black going on the wheel. And that is the plane and Winston done. And for my clouds, I use C00 and C3 and the banner, same coloring. And then with the clouds, I did blend those two out a little bit with the colorless blender, just because the C3 got a little dark and made it look like they were kind of stormy clouds, and I didn't really want them to seem stormy while he was flying. And now I'm adding some Spectral Noir sparkle to the silver parts of the plane, and this is some Jelly Roll Stardust Clear going over the star. And I'm going to take the black glaze pen and go over his nose and his eyes. And there is a little highlight in his eyes when you stamp the stamp that's really cute. So I go back in with a white glaze pen later and add that back in. You won't see me do it, but it does make a difference on his face. It looks really cute. Now this Father's Day is from the Lawn Fawn Happy 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 stamp set. And here's where I'm redoing my banner. So the greeting's a little long for the banner as it is. So I'm inking up the back half of the banner and stamping it. And now I'm inking up the front half only and stamping that around the Father's Day. And it's going to leave a space because I'm extending the banner. I'm making it longer. So then I'm going to just take a Copic liner and I'm going to connect the lines. And even though I didn't stamp it perfectly, just by kind of going over the lines, I kind of disguise the fact that it doesn't really stamp perfectly well. And then I just fussy cut that out and it looks great. And there are the dyed cut pieces from the rest of the Winston set. Now for my panels, I used the Elizabeth Craftstein Stitched Rectangles die set, and I cut a blue piece using the third largest die, and then I cut a white piece using the third largest die, and then I took the Lawn Fawn Puffy Cloud borders and I die cut that white piece to create my little cloud bank there on the bottom. And then this gray piece is cut with the second largest die, and then this piece is just an A2 sized card base, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, that I have wrapped with some airmail styled washi tape just around the edges to give my card a matte that is like, you know, red, white, and blue striped. I thought it was cute. Kind of the airmail theme went with the flying theme, and the colors matched. So that's why I went with that, and I thought it was pretty cute. And I just like overlapped the corners. I didn't think it really mattered. And I'm just adhering everything down with my ATG gun or some double-sided adhesive. And for my Happy with my Father's Day banner, I stamped and die cut that with, again, the Happy 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 stamp set. And to get that glitterized, I used my Quickie glue pen on that and just outlined or went over the stamped Happy word and then covered that with some Elizabeth Craftstein's True Red Microfine glitter to get that cute red glitteriness on the Happy. And I just thought that was cute with the red of the plane. And then I decided Winston and his plane needed some extra dimension, so I went ahead and added a whole bunch of foam tape to the back of that piece so he would be popped up. And now I'm going to adhere my banner down. Now, obviously, banners usually go in the back of the plane. They come off the tail, but I didn't have enough space. So I wound up kind of making it look like it comes off the wing. Hopefully that's not too... It's probably really dangerous in aviation terms, but for a card, I thought it was okay. And, you know, I made it work. And then that Flying By to Say is also from the stamp set as well. So super cute. So it says Flying By to Say, Happy Father's Day. And then I wanted to add a little bit of dimension to the Happy. So I do actually go ahead and add like foam tape to the back of that. And it's a little bit crazy, but it works. And then I'm adhering down my cloud with first one with the zig and the second one with some foam tape to give it a little bit of dimension. And then, as I said, I'm going to put like tiny pieces of foam tape on the back of that Happy to bump it up. Now I could have probably die cut out several additional Happies. That probably might have been easier and just layered them together to give that dimension. But I didn't think of it at the time. So if you want to redo it, you could easily do that instead. It might be potentially easier. And then I'm just adhering it down over where it overlaps the plane. And then this third little half cloud seemed necessary to balance off the entire piece. And I just added that up into the upper right. And that is the completed project. And I think Winston is so cute. Like if you're not familiar with Newton's Nook or Winston, they have an entire series of stamps using Winston the Bear, and then they also have a bunch with Newton the cat. So really, really cute, super fun. And I think this is a nice sort of not too serious, yet masculine enough Father's Day card. So hopefully I've given you a little inspiration. Now, I did want to mention that there is a supply list linked in the video description that will take you to my blog. And in the supply list on my blog, I do use affiliate links, which provide me with a small commission if you purchase through those links. So if you would like to make a purchase as a result of this video, I would be thrilled if you would do it through my links on my blog, because that does support me and allow me to help continue to make great videos for you. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love it if you subscribe. Thanks so much and have a great day.